Friday, Friday, it's Friday. Isn't that song that went viral for half a second back in, you remember that? The girl who was a terrible song? It's
Okay, wait, I do remember. Yeah, Friday, Friday, Friday. No,
yeah,
that's Justin Bieber
yeah, oh no. Yeah, this was some
doing
chick
a
and
different thing. I
it
don't
was,
know. I'm too old.
dude, you're gonna make me pull it up, but then we might get copyright struck, so I can't
Yeah,
put it.
right, right. Don't bring up music.
Wait, though, I have no audio, right? I don't have audio. When I give you stuff, I
Don't
don't have
push it. We
audio.
don't know, man. Of course, it'll be the time you pull up copyrighted music that all your shit will play through.
Hello, everybody, and I'm chilling out in the McDonald's tonight. I went back to 1970s where the food was better and the prices were better. Back when McDonald's was
Watcher,
cool.
the
Uh,
Watcher had a hankering for
y-
double
yeah,
cheeseburgers, so we
yeah.
went to
But now
McDonald's.
I was going to go to the arcade, but the AI machine was just too sloppy with the arcade. Had Pac-Man jumping out of the machine and running around and shit. So I was like, you know what? I'm not in the mood to train the AI tonight. So I'll go hang out at the McDonald's. They got a problem with their lights here, though. I don't know what that deal's about, but
If
yeah,
you're a slider or something, it's like you're stealing the
yeah,
electromagnetic power in the place. I don't like
that's
that.
right.
So what do
So
we got on the docket here? I think we're gonna finish up some Hasan coverage, right? We need to finally get, because it's not very long, Dave Smith versus Michael Knowles on
I
Trump's
think that
grip on the party.
yeah, I think that
Are
would
we gonna
spark
do
some
that
good
next week?
conversation. Oh no, you
Did
can
we
go
want to do
ahead.
that next week? Because of I think we said we were gonna do it with like more midterm coverage, but
We can,
I don't know.
we
We'll
can. It's
see.
up
We'll
to
see
you.
what comes up and what we
There you
yeah
go.
what we end up having time for, because we also got to fit in power rankings of this thing.
Yeah, our
We haven't done that
influencer
in like weeks.
influencer
Hmm.
power rankings. Well, it's good
And
to
here's
touch on
another
them.
thing, Larry. We might during that discussion need to argue if we need two separate lists. If we need like a actual news commentator versus like just online shit talker list.
Yeah,
Because
we
our list
yeah.
is going to get big. It's going to get unruly when we add a couple people here. So we'll see. Mhm. Let me bring up then. So
She had to
what
come
is
get a
she doing?
burger. Yeah, she had to
Yeah,
come get a burger. Yeah, it's cool. That's the
I really
intersectionalist.
hope the intersectionalist. I really hope the sound just starts coming through on them motherfuckers, because it would be a whole lot of fun if suddenly our audience is just like, "What is going on?" Is some
if we
lady
ever
screaming at him.
if we ever get our shit together, we'll actually make it work, and I'll figure it out. But for right now, I like the randoms just popping up in the background. So, and I don't have any flying burgers tonight or anything like I had the cool books going on last night. I got Hasan. He's in here bitching. All right, what do we got here?
So let's get into this. Is I'm trying to let me
Like I said, I
see
love how
here.
this
His
thing. It's been a week. We have no confirmation. None still.
nothing, but we're gonna milk this shit. We're gonna milk it, motherfucker.
You're just
Your boy
killing me.
Hassan Piker has motion, so we're gonna be riding on that shit for sure. This though is short fat otaku, has been showing up a lot in my feed recently. He's got 140 some subscribers 2 days ago, and it's creeping up on about 18,000 views. I'm sure if I pulled up the full, yeah, just under 18,000. His
Respectable.
kind of take, right? For someone who I didn't even know existed a couple weeks ago, it's crazy to me how many different creators can be in this space and have very respectable sized audiences, probably getting little chunks of change every month from YouTube ads or whatever it is, who I just never fucking heard of before. So I'm trying to get some of these motherfuckers in the mix, especially if I do feel like they're putting good work into the shit that they put out. So that's where we're going to start here, and maybe get some Ben Shapiro and his take on the Hassan Pie. I think I might skip that though, because there's a good amount of this. Let's get
Oh
short
man,
fat
what's going on
otaku.
here? Fed subpoena Hasan Piker, Medea Benjamin over Cuba trips. Investigation part of broader dragnet involving as many as 40 American citizens who joined Marxist convoy to Havana. Not gonna lie, I have no idea who Medea Benjamin or any of the other people are, but Hasan Piker, now that's a name that I know. I haven't really spoken about him since the Shocktober.
Which I think is kind of funny. We talked about like that's how you make it a story, baby, is when there's an actual name involved. That's when I can make something out of this. But also help me out, Larry. So this guy is just an image where he has smoke floating up. Is it PNG tuber? Is he a VTuber? What is this guy qualified as?
Well, I would say yeah, and like I said,
Is that just the image? Because a bubbler is different from a PNGer, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure, but I mean, like I know there's a peanut with a mouth, and he's considered a VTuber. So I think just as long as you hide your identity behind an avatar, you count. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure
So
whether
is that kind of like
I'm new to the
whether you,
space. I'm new
exactly
to the
right?
space.
So is it kind of like whether you're gay or lesbian or what you could be queer in the overall umbrella term or like what?
Yeah,
I got to
yeah.
learn more about the VTuber space for sure.
I'm going to recommend a leaflet video. She just dropped it, and it had a wonderful history of the VTubers. And it's
History of
funny,
VTubers and shit.
yeah, and how they because again, I was unaware of them. I mean, I kind of knew of them, but they were weird and out of the way up until a prominent lefty VTuber who actually has sway with the online media space was going after one of the VTubers that I now watch on pretty regular. And that's what, and all of a sudden, just because of that attack by the left, she got cred. All of a sudden, these weirdo little these anime things that were in our space, but no one really paid attention to. Now we're all of a sudden, well, let's go ahead and check them out. I mean, if they're getting attacked by the left, you know, we got to
They're
figure them
being
out.
exactly what brings it's the Streisand effect going on all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
it was
like,
literally that
no,
event. It was literally that
is
event
funny.
that brought me to them, and now I've been fascinated by them. I fucking love the VTubers, man. I think they're such a fresh the video that Leaflet they provides the difference between them and the retarded right. You know, the Nick Fuentes, that manosphere-ish type right, anti-Israelish right, because there is a separation between the two. They're cohorts, but there is a it's and you like going about factions within the right. Very
Right,
good.
exactly.
Very good. So I'm going to highly recommend Leaflet's newest video where she's reacting to a base camp video that gives the history of VTubers. As far as this fella, I'm just not sure if he would. I would say yes, but I don't know. I am not
PNG tuber, I
authoritative.
think, is my best understanding. I don't know all the
Yeah.
Seventh
terminology.
controversy, so this is a great time to get caught up on what he's been doing. Let's start at the beginning. After Trump's administration took out Maduro in Venezuela, the Venezuelan government stopped sending oil to Cuba. As a result, Cuba began to experience a fuel shortage. During February 2026, left-wing activists began to lay the groundwork for the Nuestra America convoy, a plan where aid was going to be shipped from Mexico to Cuba, bypassing American waters. By March 2026, the ship set sail, carrying 100 solar panels along with 50 tons of food and medicine. The ships also contained 650 left-wing activists from various countries, with the most high-profile names being Jeremy Corbyn and Hasan Piker. Of course, the Cuban regime was happy to accept both the aid and the activists, the former for material purposes, the latter for propaganda. After the ships made landfall, the social media accounts of these people rapidly filled up with posts showing just how awesome the Cuban government actually is. Anyone with a brain understood that this was literally just poverty tourism, though, and frankly, it was not a good look for all of these privileged rich leftists to go to Cuba and basically wealth mog their way across the country. For example, the shirt Hasan was wearing in this pic, yeah, that cost $700. $1,500 ring, $1,400 glasses, and he doesn't even look that good. What the fuck?
What's up, guys? I'm Hasan Piker. I'm here in Havana, Cuba, right now on a humanitarian aid mission alongside numerous other organizations, including but not limited to the DSA. And my goal here today is to bring awareness to what my government, the United States of America, has done to the Cuban population.
Okay, Hasan, your intention was to bring awareness to the plight of the Cubans. How did you do that exactly? Painting a mural while sipping on Starbucks? Holding a giant party? Using up the last few drops of oil that Cuba had left? Speaking of that, here's a video that a local Cuban uploaded, where the entire city had its power cut off, except for the hotel the influencers were staying at. Gotta make sure Hasan and his pals have the best possible story to send back home. By the way, when I said poverty tourism, I meant it, because Hasan literally talked about throwing money at the poor for his own gratification.
Shouts out to the Hasan Avi head at TSA that let me pass through without giving me too much grief, as I had wads and wads of cash on me. That was really funny because I walked through TSA and I got a fat stack on me, and it looks a lot more than it actually is because it's like small bills. That's what they told us. They were like, oh, like it's very, you should bring small bills and just give people money, right? So I came in with this shit. Okay. And it looks a lot more than it actually is. Okay.
So that is Hasan's Cuba trip in a nutshell. Anyone who isn't a socialist hack saw this for what it was, a mostly performative propaganda / clout trip to Cuba. I'm sure the actual aid they brought was used and appreciated by whoever got it. I don't think it was ever independently confirmed where any of that shit went. But the actual purpose of the trip was to make pampered Western leftists feel good about themselves, and to give the Cuban government a propaganda pipeline into Western social media. Also, if you pointed this out or made fun of it in any way, even if you were a liberal, online leftists would call you a MAGA, fascist, Nazi reactionary, or whatever the fuck. The Hasan Piker Cuban trip, outside of Hasan's home community, basically just amounted to a funny, stupid thing that happened on social media, and then immediately faded into irrelevance because, frankly, who gives a shit? It was forgotten like 5 minutes after it happened, until Trump's DOJ announced a potential criminal probe into Hasan for the event. Remember, the US government still has an embargo on Cuba.
Just want to call out the framing. They didn't announce it. It was reported by that reporter, according to somebody. I just want to say, I notice how that, he stated as a fact. It was I forget,
it's right here.
Hasan's home community, basically just amounted to a funny, stupid thing that happened on social media, and then immediately faded into irrelevance because, frankly, who gives a shit? It was forgotten like 5 minutes after it happened, until Trump's DOJ announced a potential criminal probe.
Pause. Until Trump's DOJ announced, which that didn't happen. Trump's DOJ didn't announce an investigation. I mean, it's
for sure.
It's very
because
subtle.
From my point of view, I didn't think twice about it. My takeaway, because I was about to pause it before he went further, was like, hey, I appreciate that he gave more background about like the trip to Cuba than most other spots.
And fairly even. I don't know what the liberal reaction was. But yeah, it was a fart in the wind.
That little bit right there is it's just poor That's very poor framing on his part. That's a good call out, really, because Trump's DOJ until they announced
into Hasan for the event.
Yeah, they haven't announced.
Remember, the US government still has an embargo on Cuba that stretches back decades. And like it or not, Hasan, as an American citizen, may have actually violated the law. Let's take a look at what information the American government is requesting from Hasan. The Requests for Information, or RFI, seek financial, logistical, and communications information revolving around trips Hasan bragged about making to the island nation in March, with delegations of the Nuestra America convoy, from a global network of communist sympathizers, activists, and influencers who brought supplies to the country's ruling Communist Party of Cuba. Another high-profile member of the convoy was Jody Evans, the founder of the global feminist activist organization Code Pink. Evans is married to Neville Roy Singham, an American business tycoon who is politically extremely pro-socialist. He lives in China, and he uses his wealth to promote pro-Chinese Communist Party initiatives around the globe, including funding the Nuestra America convoy. Basically, this guy is the left-wing equivalent of the Koch brothers or Peter Thiel, who use their immense wealth to fund right-wing activism. By the way, I'm not schizo posting here. This is all public information, and here's another influencer who was on the trip confirming it's all true.
People's Forum is funded by a Chinese billionaire. You hear that about PSL a lot, and there is a Chinese billionaire who gives PSL some money sometimes, but the Chinese billionaire gives People's Forum a lot of money, and they posted a really funny thing about it back in 2021 that I want to show you. So they said, for months we've been the target of a campaign that alleges our funding comes from dark money. A few years ago, we met Roy Singham, a Marxist comrade who sold his company and donated most of his wealth to nonprofits that focus on political education, culture, and internationalism. It seems to bother some folks that we receive funding that furthers our anti-imperialist politics. It seems to bother them even more that our funder is also a staunch anti-imperialist whose work goes back to the Black Panthers and the LRBW in Detroit. Yeah, everybody always talks about this Chinese billionaire thing. So we're going to open this from the Black Agenda Report and learn about him really fast. The folks who make allegations against us are steeped in the worst kind of racism, believing somehow that our funding robs us of agency and self-determination. Roy follows in the footsteps of his father, Archie, a committed activist for national liberation. We've got that open too. Ultimately, our solidarity with the peoples and countries at the epicenter of the struggle against U.S. imperialism will not be moved by the racist allegations made by the people who loudly echo State Department and Pentagon discourse. So I thought this was really, really funny. Yeah, free Puerto Rico. We had Puerto Ricans on our delegation too, and we refer to them as their own country the whole time. So this is an article from 2021. This is about Roy Singham, right? This is a great article you can read if you want to learn more about the Chinese billionaire funding left-wing movements out here in the United States. He does fund some stuff. It's certainly not the sole source of most people's funding. And also, who cares? He's a leftist. He sold his company, he got rich, he wants to give all his money away, right? If fucking Cardi B was doing all of this for the Democratic Party, he'd be patting her on the back, right? Oh, Singham is the same. Yeah, he's the same guy that they say funds PSL. But PSL also, I know, is like member funded mostly. It's not like, I don't know. They try to make it seem like the Chinese.
I'll pause it there just for I really, really like the, plus, I mean, who gives a fuck? He's given to left-wing sources. Yeah. Like, that's at the end of the day, who cares? As long as we're the ones getting the money and not them. I love that little shit. It's just a little shrug of the shoulders of like what principles or whatever. Really funny to me. Another like minute of this before
I
we
don't
go
mind
deeper
rich
into the clip.
people's
Anything
money
you
in
got?
politics as long as it's for me.
Yeah, for my side, if we're our agenda's getting further, then of course it's
These communist
who
parties
cares?
secretly running these like little campaigns out here. You know what I mean? I wish, first of all, that would be dope as hell if we all just got paid to be communists by the Chinese Communist Party. I'd be so.
Wait a minute.
Right. Wait a minute. It's the extension of the Soros money joke. Like, oh, I wish Soros was giving me a job to go protest, blah, blah, blah. But when you say it about a foreign government, this is you outright saying like, oh, I would be a foreign agent.
Plus,
Absolutely. Of
I
course
love
I
the
wouldn't register to be
I
a
love the communists wanting to accumulate wealth.
Oh, yeah. But who
I
cares?
wish
Again,
I
they're
was
giving
getting
it
paid.
to us. They're giving it. Oh, yeah. Right. Like it was never about the principles. It's never about the principles. It's about the power. The power.
On board. But no, he's just a guy who gives money to a lot of different orgs that promote politics he likes, and some in the United States. Some Marxist orgs in the United States get money from him too.
The idea that Hasan might face some sort of legal repercussion for his part in the convoy had been floated around on Twitter ever since he got back to the States. Apparently, the influencers may have stayed at a hotel that the US government blacklists as part of the embargo, a fact that Hasan himself was stupid enough to signal boost on his Twitter. Well, good job, you fucking sped, because that was the rationale the US government used to begin its investigation. However, it's my personal opinion that they've basically just been waiting for an excuse to get Hasan on something. Don't get me wrong, couldn't have happened to a more deserving bozo. Trump versus Hasan is absolutely one of those cases where it's the two retards fighting meme, and really, it's a shame they both couldn't lose. But Fox News has been covering Hasan more and more recently, and the Trump administration is made up of idiots who genuinely watch and take inspiration from Fox News. So maybe that's why it's all finally going down right now. However, there's actually a really interesting series of events unfolding at the moment. Liberals and Democrats are overwhelmingly refusing to show solidarity with Hasan Piker, even though libs and Dems also hate Trump, and that has massively pissed off the socialists. I want to dig into this, so let's go down a rabbit hole. I'll start us off with a quick refresher. When Destiny went into Israel to look into that country's situation, here is what Hasan's reaction was.
Did you learn that Divorcelli is going to Israel, Palestine to talk to people there? He's not going to Israel, Palestine. He's doing a media tour, most likely, I suspect, paid for by the Israeli government. Who gives a shit?
Okay, to me, that sounds an awful like what Hasan did in Cuba. Regardless of how you feel about Destiny, his interviews from that trip show pretty clearly this was not just some kind of partisan pro-Israeli propaganda tour.
Right, so I'll pause it here. We've got Destiny, and I didn't know Lonerbox was apparently on that trip as well. So if you're looking for why the far left hate Lonerbox too, we just found it. Apparently he was on that trip to Israel that Destiny went on to.
Guilt by association.
So, well, of course, if you find any kind of empathetic stance that you can find towards the Israeli people, then your Zionist organized brain needs to
asking real people real questions about the situation, while Hasan's trip to Cuba was actually the media tour. The reason I'm bringing this up, though, is because this might be the most projection I've ever seen out of Hasan, and I want you to keep his words in mind as we go over this. For those of you who don't recall, Hasan made a similar propaganda trip to China back in November of 2025. I was actually working on a video showing how ridiculous it was at the time, which ultimately went unfinished. Sorry about that. Blame unmedicated ADHD or something. But you know what? I'm gonna adapt parts of that video into this video. Hasan's China trip was a total propaganda shit show, covering pretty much every base. Performative amazement at so-called advanced technology, which actually is...
I am going to skip. He goes into some details about that coverage here that isn't relevant to the subpoena necessarily. But there is one moment from that China trip that I did want to go over. Do you have anything on the coverage so far?
Nope. Okay.
Cool. All right, so this is him it's kind of near the end of him covering the China.
We're talking penises on there. We can't let like the Chinese get backdoor access into this.
But here's the best bit, at least for me. A Chinese fan gave Hasan a copy of Mao's Little Red Book.
Oh, Dallas Stars fan.
Dallas Stars.
Dallas Stars. Yeah.
What is this? Hey, what's going on?
No problem, chat.
Oh, no way! It's a small one.
And it's the first version.
It's the first. Wait.
Really?
Is that a Bible?
That's an amazing soy face right there. For those of you who don't know, the Little Red Book's actual title is Quotations from Chairman Mao, and it features quotes from various speeches he gave and essays he wrote. No surprise there. The Little Red Book is not really political theory, as there's not much in here but what a proletarian government should look like from a Maoist perspective. Rather, the Little Red Book is primarily about the practical realities of gaining and holding power. coalition building, revolutionary warfare, that sort of thing. Also, it's dumb as hell. We should support whatever the enemy opposes and oppose whatever the enemy supports. Yeah, great insight there, buddy. No wonder you starved millions of people with that kind of wisdom. What's funny about all this, though, is that according to Mao's Little Red Book, which is not the Little Red Book itself, it's a different book about the history of the Little Red Book. After Mao's death and the new regime came into power, the original run of the Little Red Book was branded by the new government as a distortion of true Maoist thought, and original copies were destroyed by the millions, replaced with newer, more edited editions. While it was not illegal for a Chinese citizen to own the original Little Red Book, it did become illegal to give foreigners a copy of it, which means that this fan of Hasan might currently be sitting inside of a Chinese organ harvesting machine. Anyway, the Hasan China trip might be the most blatant use of a streamer for political propaganda that I've ever seen. The whole thing felt the same as Tucker Carlson shilling for Putin's Russia. In fact, Hasan fully embraced the comparison, saying the only difference between himself and Tucker was that he has aura. Hasan is very open and honest about being an anti-West propagandist.
And not because I'm a propagandist. As far as me being a propagandist goes, everyone is a propagandist. I'm just honest about it. You're a propagandist.
Upon returning home, he was very happy to say that America should in fact be more like China.
I am hypercritical of all forms of governance, including the American one. I think that's not a surprise to you guys, right? And in that same vein, I think like there is critiques to apply to all forms of governance, even socialist ones.
Yeah.
And as far as like getting closer to what I think has been relatively successful, because if ultimately the point of government is to improve the material conditions of all people to the best of your ability, it's not always going to be perfect, but when you are getting, I don't know, the poorest people, the poorest of the dispossessed masses out of a situation where they were servile to landed gentry, or they were peasants from an agrarian society, or they were dominated by the landlords, but then ultimately they were able to come into modernity and become like a powerhouse, an industrial powerhouse that is competitive with the largest superpower on the planet. I would say if that's the point of good governance, and I think you guys might agree with me on that, I would say China is probably the closest.
Now listen, you can hold these views if you want. They're retarded, but you can't.
Yeah, but to say that's retarded. What brought China into the modernity, embracing
Nixon.
Capitalism?
Yeah, Nixon saying
It wasn't the
trade with these
they were starving and desolate and up until they opened up and embraced it. Oh my gosh,
open trade. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. There's
And
no thought process.
I love
for
the
history behind
communist
it.
because that's what he is. He's a hardcore Marxist communist. Remember, the utopia is communism. Once you achieve communism, you achieve the perfect government. You really don't need a
Right.
government. So he just said, well,
which
no
is-
government can be perfect. Well, you're just saying your whole political ideology can't be,
Is once
you
we
can't,
get
unachievable.
exactly.
And of
Mhm.
course it is. Anyone
Right.
with common sense knows you can't achieve utopia. Utopia cannot be made on earth by man or God. Even Jesus says this is not God's kingdom. So, I mean, anyone sensible
it's-
knows you. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the kind of thing that makes it like why communism should just be a thought experiment and no one should ever try to
Yeah.
bring it to fruition. Right. Because if you
Correct.
just play it
It's-
out, yeah.
Just logically,
Yep.
you can't get there ever. And himself, with being oblivious to that fact, no government's perfect. Although I espouse that if you accept Marxism and run it perfectly and become socially conscious and run it, then
Right.
we will achieve a perfect government.
It's literally, it legit is. Yeah. Nothing's perfect. But if everybody did everything perfectly, then it would be perfect. It's like, that doesn't work that way. I don't know what you want from me.
Well, then any form of
Can't hold
government would be perfect.
Yeah.
If you accepted me as your
Right.
leader and did everything I said,
Yes.
then I think we would
That's
achieve
the
a perfect
point,
world.
Hasan. Yes. Right.
Hasan. I am personally not going to call for you to be persecuted for being an absolute fucking idiot. But the reason I'm laying all of this out is to show you guys that there's a pattern of behavior with Hasan where, if given a choice on any topic, on any conflict, he will always choose the anti-Western, anti-American position. We've already seen him do it with Cuba and China. I don't think I need to show you evidence of him doing it with the Israel-Palestine thing, considering those takes might be the ones he's the most famous for. How about Russia-Ukraine? Well, he had no problem calling the idea that Russia might ever attack Ukraine as American propaganda meant to vilify an adversary of the global capitalist system.
You call Crimea? I call it a part of Russian territory, bitch. That's what I call Crimea. I call it Crimea River, a Russian river. Russia's historic access into the Black Sea, Crimea, that's like historically, fucking ethnically all Russian.
North Korea? Oh, he fully believes in regime propaganda on that one. Apparently North Korea is actually a thriving modernist utopia. And of course, the Soviet Union.
There's always going to be power. I say we put the power back in the hands of the many, rather than the power in the hands of the few. If a dictatorship is inevitable, I'd rather have it be a dictatorship of the proletariat than one that is designed around the needs of the bourgeois class.
This is the trick that tankies like to play, by the way. They make the claim that dictatorship is inevitable, liberal democracy is going to go away no matter what, and your only options are between a left-wing dictator and a right-wing one. So, with all of this in mind, what is underneath the lid of Hasan Piker? Probably not much, honestly. But if there was an actual coherent ideology driving his actions and not just clout chasing, we can derive it from this clip, taken from Hasan's stream during Mamdani's victory party.
Done.
What do you think it means that this guy ran as a socialist and anti-communism didn't work to stop him? That's big.
Yeah, I think we are in the heart of the imperial core. This is the country that defeated the USSR, unfortunately. And the reality of the matter is, there's a lot of antagonism. There's no class consciousness in the United States of America. It's one of the things I try to address every day with my commentary. And I will say this, the conditions have deteriorated so much that everyday Americans, in spite of their lack of class consciousness, are finally arriving at the conclusion that perhaps there is an alternative out there. There is an alternative that focuses on them as opposed to the interests of the billionaires and the millionaires, as opposed to the interests of the capital owners.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of brain-dead nonsense in there, but let's focus on what he said at the start of the clip. We are in the heart of the imperial core. There is a school of international relations theory called dependency theory. When we're talking about international relations, there's a few dominant schools of thought. One big one is realism, the idea that great powers have spheres of influence and operate in terms of what power dictates independent of morality, because in the great game, power is the ultimate arbiter. Another is institutionalism, that the answer to competing states and powers is international cooperation, global capitalism and trade, mutually beneficial deals between states, universal rules that all agree to abide by, that sort of thing. Marxists tend to reject both of these schools of thought, though they might occasionally appeal to some tenet of one or another, should the individual circumstance call for it. But for the most part, Marxists adhere to dependency theory. Some components of dependency theory were first articulated by Lenin, Mussolini, and Rosa Luxemburg, but it was first fully formulated by Paul Baran, a Ukrainian member of the Frankfurt School, who eventually became an American after the school's evacuation during the
Frankfurt
Second World
School.
War, and he did so in his
Very
Frankfurt
important.
School.
book, The Political
That might
Economy
be
of
my
Growth.
first
The
video.
idea
I
of
might talk about Frankfurt School. Because I mean,
Okay,
it's
fuck
funny
yeah.
how modern progressives have very little idea of how influential we're living in. Well, we were living in Herbert Marcuse's world. So it's just interesting. All right, go ahead and continue. Sorry, as I'm a geek on this kind of stuff, so it's
Well, and I
interesting.
legit, this is something that why I wanted to bring Short Fat Otaku to the table. Is he throws in good like actual context for like none of this shit's happening in a bubble and people don't always necessarily reference their the schools of thought that they're pulling their ideas
dependency
from.
theory is that the world can be divided up into core and periphery countries, where the former is enriched at the expense of the latter, due to unequal trade deals, as well as dysfunctional state institutions set into place during the colonial period. When Hasan says the term imperial core, he is referencing dependency theory. Though sometimes core countries may wage war against periphery countries in order to maintain the liberal capitalist globalist system, oftentimes that's just not necessary. Predatory trade deals and loans usually serve to keep the periphery in line, bound in perpetual servitude to the core. Now, this video is not a critique of dependency theory, though there are many critiques of it out there. Rather, what I'm saying is, Hasan adhering to dependency theory explains why he always consistently takes up the most anti-West, anti-American position on any topic, even if that ends up with him being contradictory or hypocritical or aligning with the right wing somehow. The easiest way to think of it is, whatever is affiliated with America is bad, whatever is against it is good, because America is the imperial core extracting resources and labor from the rest of the world, in the same way that the bourgeoisie extracts from the proletariat. This is why Hasan's politics can occasionally appear schizophrenic as fuck. He went from declaring he has no patriotism toward America whatsoever while in China to trying to claim the pro-American position after he returned. He complains constantly about exploitation under capitalism, but he believes that hiring Chinese labor at record low rates means that China is an advanced country.
There are girls that you can hire who are trained at just being good at that.
Wow.
And specifically on like your taking phone photos, and you just hire them for an hour or two. They take the most fire photos of you, hand them off, some digis, and just dip.
Crazy.
Like they have a person for everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Like when you're traveling, you can literally hire a person off. Every app is interconnected.
And of course, Hasan has this habit of presenting.
He's just
Oh, you're muted. You're muted, bro. You muted. Hello? You're muted.
I'm muted.
Your rant.
I'm
We
sorry.
missed your rant. We missed you muted right when you went
No,
into
that's
it.
probably
You launched right into a good mute.
good. That's probably for the best. This motherfucker pisses me off so fucking
But that
much.
is
I'm sorry.
funny. And that the people they're supposed to be protecting, you just hire people like day slaves.
I know.
This
Just at your
glorious.
fingertips, bro. It's so cool. Yeah, they're just no. And again, he's all about raising class consciousness. He's all about. I can't with this dude sometimes. It's just an absolute joke. And I know I needed to include up to that timestamp because of how fucking ridiculous. And the whole time he's doing it, he's like holding up the stuff, or right before he does his little bit, he's holding up like the stuffed animal to his stream. Like it's so like first world dystopian bullshit. And he's talking about how great it would be if he could just be in China while he's like streaming his plushie to his audience. So fucking
about these things that we care about.
Hasan recently posted a picture of him on a bus reading Lenin's book, What Is to Be Done. This was obviously for oral purposes because I don't think Hasan can even fucking read. However, I actually have read What Is to Be Done. It's like the Little Red Book in that it focuses less on communist theory and more on the practical matter of obtaining and wielding political power. But unlike Mao, Lenin actually seems to know what he's talking about. And this is an actual book, not a collection of quotes. One section of the book is specifically all about how to subvert political movements that may be directionally aligned with you in some small circumstance, but would ultimately be opposed to you in the larger fight, which is exactly what Hasan Piker wants to do to the Democratic Party. Now then, keeping all of this in mind, let's go all the way back to the Trump administration subpoenaing Hasan Piker for his potentially illegal trip to Cuba, and liberals deciding not to speak out in a show of solidarity. After all of this shit, are you fucking surprised? What's actually happening here is that centrists, liberals, Democrats are finally waking up to the subversive, pernicious influence that socialists like Hasan Piker have on their movement. And holy fucking shit, I have been begging for this ever since Gamergate in 2014. Thank fucking God. Reminder that these whining losers are now screaming bloody murder that libs won't pitch in and stand behind Hasan. Dead Domain, Mike from PA, all these fucking retards. They view liberal values as something to subvert. They're angry that liberals won't defend them when they attack liberals constantly. Like, you know what? I truly do not give a shit about Mike from PA declaring that Democrats must help Hasan when he openly said he intends to continue to hurt the Democrats until they do what he wants. You get what you fucking deserve, Mike. Hasan has a long history of not supporting the Democratic Party if they don't bend to his whims, which makes it frankly ridiculous that he's now demanding solidarity from that same Democratic Party that he views as fascist anyway. He's openly said he would not support Gavin Newsom if he were the Democratic nominee.
For him.
Disappointed in
Who do you
Gavin
vote
Newsom.
for, J.D. Vance or Gavin Newsom?
Well, I'd have to vote for Gavin Newsom,
Me
of course,
too.
100%.
I wouldn't blink.
There's
What
no
about
doubt.
you, Hasan?
I'd probably vote third party.
You would?
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, it doesn't even matter. Like, because my policy on this is the same as like my refusal to endorse Kamala Harris. The reason why I did not endorse Kamala Harris was because she did things that were not only unproductive but also unconscionable. And I still stand on that. I still talk about it all the time because people constantly bring it up. They're like, you didn't sufficiently like promote Kamala Harris.
He's openly said the Democrats, the people he wants to save him, are just as bad as Trump.
Democrats, if they were in charge right now, would be doing 100% the exact same thing, 1-to-1. Make no fucking mistake. Anyone who tries to tell you that Kamala Harris will be different is a fucking delusional moron. Do not listen to them.
He ultimately does not care about maintaining democracy at all. He just wants the revolution to be his and not the right's.
That's something that I'll never understand about Ezra Klein. Like, I made fun of January 6th. You didn't. You thought it was the most pivotal event in American history. You acted like it was liberal 9/11. Okay, and then you turn around and look at the Muhammad Atta of January 6th and you go, that's a great guy. It doesn't make sense to me. I can say that if I want to because I don't really give a shit about January 6th. I thought it was funny. Okay, you don't.
And he's directly done the exact same thing he's now complaining about. Side with Trump's regime in the lawfare against Democrats.
Senator Adam Schiff under federal criminal investigation for alleged mortgage fraud violations. Oh my God, I hope they arrest him. Oh my God, I hope he goes to prison. Oh my God, I hope he goes to prison.
I do. I think my clip goes to the end of the shift clip that we've seen before. I think when I was watching this clip is when it really struck me that the Hasan wing of the left is the Freerin part of the left. That if you're on the right and you're probably assuming like all of the left kind of just acts the same, it's the Hasans that you see that will so clearly use those like the great things that democracy, liberal democracy brings you to undermine that democracy that does actually exist. And then all it takes is paint that broad brush. Everyone on the left thinks that way. Like so many gears started like connecting on. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a mirror image of what Nick Fuentes does for the right. Every MAGA is Nick Fuentes.
Exactly. Or they're all nucks. They're all exactly. It's just, it was very illuminating. It was a great moment, I think, in underlining
But I
in
mean, even
my
everything.
because good.
Nick Fuentes is the whole my way or the highway. He's a purist as well. So I
Right.
mean, he is literally just just a mirror image of Nick Fuentes. And again, they're so close together that on that horseshoe, that political horseshoe we always refer to. Yeah, it's although I just thought about it, I kind of glad they're out there because they don't really have a lot of power. They don't really do a whole lot, and when anytime they fuck up, everyone like dog piles on them. So I don't find them very harmful. I'm glad I think our freedom of speech works. I don't want neither one to be silenced. Them being out there making asses of themselves in a way is beneficial.
The best, like the left has always looked at the solution in the internet age of everyone being able to get information to everything is, well, no, cut off those extremes, the fringes, blah blah blah. No, we need to just clearly define it. The goal is to define where everyone stands pretty clearly, because then people will be able to judge just by how many people are in these groups that there are fringes and it's a little thinner down there aren't as many people that actually believe that kind of shit. It gets thicker and thicker as you get towards the establishment bend of the U.
Well,
Like
let's take our last couple of days. We've only seen a tiny fraction.
yeah.
Like let me ask you this question: who do you think more people? What's getting more views? A Hasan stream by a Hasan fan base, or all these videos shitting on him from like every political perspective combined? I think
Second one.
yeah, the second one.
Right. I think that's all I had for short,
That's what the
lazy,
most
short, fat
interesting thing
otaku.
is. To me, that's what the most interesting thing is him being out there. Yes, he's going to have his core fan base. There's retards for everything. So, that is what it is. But there's just as many voices, from different angles who are against it and pointing out why it's stupid. This is obviously a centrist Democrat who's making this video. This guy's a centrist Democrat. If I had to put him in a box, that's where I would put him based on
You
the
got
small
it.
bit of
Yeah,
content.
he's a shit lib like me. Let's then. I'm gonna stop sharing that bit and start sharing our ranking board.
I
Are you looking at what I'm looking at? Do you have the
Yep.
board up over there?
Yep, the
Okay.
board is up.
We have these new people who weren't ranked last time. Let's start with those.
All right.
We've got Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, will always be on our
Yep.
board, even though he is
Yep.
no longer with us on this earth.
I wish
Jillian
I had
Michaels.
a heavenly tier. A heavenly
Yeah,
tier.
right. We would have like a little cloud. Yep, little gates. He'd be up there. Jillian Michaels. So we've checked in on her with the Maha crowd, and she recently. Maybe we will wait to rank her till next week because she recently had a debate with Sam Cedar, who is on our list.
I saw that in my feed. I didn't
wait.
click on it, and I'm not very familiar with Sam Cedar. I know he's a liberal, but I know very little about him.
I thought he was already on here, and then I pulled his face for some reason. Maybe he's not on here yet. They had a debate. We'll keep them both off for right now.
Yeah, you can roll those two up for now. All right.
Adam Mockler and Scott Jennings had a moment that we've discussed. So we're going to throw them both on this list. I think they're both C tier. C to D tier. They're going to be below Jank,
I don't know.
Breaking Points, Medi Hasan, the Pod Save Bros.
Okay, B tier. You want to put them on B tier.
No, I wouldn't put them on C tier. They're below all those people. They're below even Alex Jones in my mind. They would be below Anna Kasparian.
You can literally pull them. I'm good with you putting them both anywhere on C tier.
I'm gonna put them right next to Anna Kasparian. That's where I'm putting them both. But I am putting Adam Mockler on top because he dominated our boy Scott in that in exchange. So he's
From
on
your
top
point
right
of
now.
view, okay, that's fine. But I'm
That's
just
right.
saying
That's
there were
right.
just as many that he was owned, and Piers Morgan clip it definitely distributed or shared the perspective that he was owned by.
Which
But
brings us
whatever.
to Piers Morgan. He's got
Yeah.
to be S tier, bro.
No.
He's
I will
gotta
not have it.
be.
I will not have it. This might be
So
our
top
hottest.
of A tier? Are we
Who are
going
you putting him
top?
on top of? Who are you putting him on top of?
He's above Theo Von and Asmongold.
Oh my god, bro!
Yes, and
Bro.
Nick Fuentes is going to be dropping. He's not even going to be A tier anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
wow,
There's
yeah.
something to be said for having the ability to pull everyone to your platform. That is power. You know what I mean? Like that's I
I
don't know,
don't
man.
know,
Where do you
man.
want to put him? Okay, I've made my argument before we put him anywhere. Where are you thinking? Like
Top
down
of
in
B.
B and
You put him
C?
in B tier. B tier. I'd put him B tier. Man, I'm looking at this because has Rachel Maddow made any noise lately? I mean, I'm looking at our
No,
list.
I know so many of these people need to get ranked lower.
Yeah, oh my
I
gosh, I
think there was
dropped.
some muscle memory in with
What's the
these
last
when
Joe Rogan clip you've seen flying around?
I just recently I saw Harlan Williams. Is that his name from um,
Buttercup,
Rocket Man? Yes, yeah, and from the
butter
Dave Chappelle the
stuff.
Weed movie. Buttered stuff. I love buttered
I
stuff.
love
Yeah,
butter
exactly.
stuff.
They were having a debate about the Iran war that was getting passed around on Twitter. So just recently.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Rogan's obviously anti then, right? He's obviously against the Iran war.
Yes, he's very much in the kind of
I wouldn't
libertarian
figure
Dave
hard.
Smith, well, Scott Horton mindset now too.
Interesting. No, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Harlan Williams was very much like let's fucking take nuclear dust away from him. I don't know. In a very funny Harlan Williams. I honestly, it was a fun, like they kind of butted some heads a bit, but it felt very comedy guy from both of them. Very, just their comedic sensibilities were coming out. It
so
was a good
it was the fun
exchange.
conversation was the what you
Yeah, I
took
thought
away
it
from
was.
the. All right.
Right. Yeah, I think he's worthy of being
Which is
up
pretty
in
much what I go to
S.
Joe Rogan for.
Still.
I don't go
Right.
for insight or I already kind of know where he's going to come from on any given
That's
topic.
why it's so effective to, if you are one of those politically minded people, to go on that show, because that's what people don't go there for, but you can infect them with your shit while you're on there. Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Okay. No, I just had big static shit on my end, so now I'm worried that my shit, but yeah, okay. How about we're cool with the tiers as they're sitting right now then, right? The S and A?
Are we
Is there
adding
anyone
anyone
we've
else
talked
before we
about?
go?
Oh yeah, let's finish adding. Nux.
You know, on
Where's
a
he
personal
go?
level, I got on a personal level. I say I wish regular people. He's been popping up for me, but he's been popping up because he got over into the manosphere. He was hanging out with Nux and that new guy, that goth guy. He's been on the scene the last couple of months. I've seen him popping up in places. Oh, you haven't seen this guy? Oh, hold on.
No,
I'll share
not
an image
familiar.
of him. I'll share an
No.
image of him. Man, where to place him though? I can't put him too high only because me and you know him a lot. I like him. You hate him.
I don't hate him.
Yeah.
I have limited patience to watch a lot of Nux material in one day, is what I would say.
I feel that. All right.
I
I
think he
B
would be
tier.
low B or high C, is kind of where I'm thinking.
He's definitely above
Maybe
Bannon. He's definitely above Bannon. And he's above Chank, I
Bannon.
think. Man, I was feeling
Chank.
down today, so I had to watch
Breaking.
Chank's breakdown from 2016, the election night, where he starts out so confident and
and then he goes down.
Yeah, and then it goes down. Oh, watching that scene. Whenever I feel down and I'm a little blue or black pilled, I just watch that video from the Young Turks 2016 coverage. I'm good with right there. Who's he above? Who do you got him above? Dave Rubin?
Dave Rubin and Breaking Point's crew are right above Cenk. So this would be right below Mehdi Hasan and Tim Dillon.
Okay. Yeah. I'm all
his
right with there.
podcast.
I'm right there.
Okay.
I'm okay with that for now.
Patrick Bet David.
You know
Talked
what?
about
He's
him a lot. He came up on the
you got to
the
put him
song
on
clip.
A tier, just almost for numbers wise. I didn't realize how many.
He gets some numbers.
He gets better numbers than your Pierce Morgan. If you go look at his videos, he gets better numbers than Pierce, I think, or comparable.
And if that is the case, then I believe Patrick Bet David bots his views based on nothing, no other evidence more than that. Because there's no way more people watch Patrick Bet David than watch.
I think it was comparable. It's in the hundreds of thousands. Even that crazy lady who believes in that the British city of London controls the world, her video got like 500K views.
Jesus
with
Christ, that's
PBD.
unsettling. Let's go. I think PBD does not have the strength of a Candace Owens, but he is above a Ben Shapiro. He's right here. So
Okay.
even
I think we might have
into,
Ben too high right now. Both Ben and Megan.
we do,
but we'll come back.
exactly. But we'll come back. We're almost done. Then here's his actual name is JSTLK. Is J Stalk.
Yeah, we watched
Stalker is.
We watched some.
Yeah,
of
we
his...
watched him early on. He's like bottom of C, top of D. I'm gonna put him. He's more influential than James Carville or Pac-Man, so I'm gonna go bottom of C tier.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And then to get this done, trigonometry guys. I think they're good. I included both of them because the Muppet guy always comes along with the guy who talks more.
I like the Muppet guy though. I've been watching his solo channel. Francis, I learned his name. His name is Francis.
I love it.
Yeah, I like him though. I watched some of his solo content because Constantine's been off doing stuff with his kid. He took a couple months off to have the baby and whatnot. So Francis has been out there doing his own thing. He's been showing up on different podcasts and stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and he's been getting a bit of his own personality and stuff. I'm putting them. I'll put them above Pierce. I still can't believe you have Pierce that high. Elon does trigonometry a lot. I would say I consistently watch 75% of their content.
Okay. I'm gonna go just below Pierce.
Man, you and your
Benny Johnson.
You and your Pierce worship, dude.
You know what? Okay, cool. They are in front of Piers Morgan. They are the top of the B tier. You've convinced me. You know what it is really with Pierce, more than anything, is the fact that so many other people on our list want to be on the Piers Morgan show debating with other motherfuckers.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Like I do. Yeah.
Yeah, Pierce is doing the show by himself. Like you said, his ability to assemble, Avengers marquee level panels. I'll give you the nod on that. I understand that. That is respectful. And that is his shtick. I don't think anyone else assembles panels like that. Can you think of another influencer who has that style?
CNN tries to replicate it with what's her name, Abby something.
Yeah, but that's all mainstream boomer slop. I mean, that's all. In other words, yeah, and that is his thing. He does come from that background.
Is he's taking that kind of
and bringing it into the alternative media space.
It's not quite like Fox and Friends, but it's almost Fox and Friends where everybody has their own brand that they're bringing to the table. So there's just a lot more.
Yeah, and for me, his thing is the reason he gets so many views, though, is he's got Andrew Wilson versus Anna Secret, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's got marquee names. They're MMA matchups. They're cards.
Right. Is there any other place those people want to go to put on a card? If there was no value to it, would those people not go put on the fight there? If there's no value, Joe Rogan himself really doesn't have that much sway. But
he does on the one-on-ones.
Joe Rogan experience.
When it comes to one-on-ones. That's what I'm saying. No one else is offering what Piers is offering. No one else builds that kind of Royal Rumble situation. If you watch any other podcasts, like the smaller groupings, the smaller genres will have 5 or 6 boxes when they're discussing stuff, or maybe even up to 10 sometimes. But
That's to me is evidence that Pierce understands the digital media landscape better than, like, he's the closest thing we have to mainstream, because in a world where everybody has their own echo chambers, he's at least a place where different people swirl around each other occasionally.
what
And I think there's
percentage?
just
What
go ahead.
percentage of Piers Morgan content do you watch? How often do you like, oh, Piers Morgan just dropped, I'm gonna watch that?
My feed shows me his episode every day because of how often
And how
I
many
don't
times you
watch
click
every
on it?
day.
It's about to say, what
I
percentage would you say? How tempted are you?
recently 2 to 3 a week is what I would say. And it's not to watch the full thing. It's depending on the thumbnail, who's on that episode.
Yeah, that exactly. And that's my point. Is his
Same with Joe
attraction
Rogan,
is
dog. Ask anyone who's a Joe Rogan fan if they watch the episode if the guest seems like a bust, and they're gonna say no. I watch maybe 2 out of 3 episodes every week. I watch, and the other 1 to 2, I skip.
I wonder if that's just true. But I do take your point. I do take your point.
Yeah, I think it's the power of the platform with both of those two is what and Theo to another extent. It's not like people listen to everything Theo says is gospel so much as they just believe that he's a good place to
he's a fun
listen
talk.
for the
He's gonna give you a good
conversation.
conversation.
Same with the Pierce Morgan show. I'm gonna get a good
Piers Morgan's
conversation
more
out
like
of
a good
whoever he
debate.
brings.
Piers Morgan's more like a good debate. You're not getting a good conversation. You rarely get a good
Sometimes I
conversation.
get it. That's a good point. It's more of a debate than conversation. Absolutely. Absolutely. But he's got to be high up there. Okay, so how about re-rankings? What are we thinking on Ben Shapiro's got to go lower. Daily Mail's or Daily whatever, Daily Wire has lost a whole bunch of viewers. What's his name? Matt.
I always thought he
Bearded
was too high. I thought we had him way too high to begin with. I'd have
He's
to
still
go back
going to be in B tier then, right?
Oh yeah, he's still. People care what he says.
I'm going to go like
usually the
above,
dog on it, above Loomer. I'd put him above Loomer. In that Pod Bros, a bunch of Pod Bros, down on the second level. Put him there.
I would put him above Pod Bros. I'd put him maybe by Dylan Miller of the Bulwark.
That's fine. I'm not as picky. Yeah, I'm not as picky on that. And Megan's got to drop too.
Now, where is she going?
In that same tier, on that same level.
I
maybe
think
higher.
she's above, just below Pierce. She's bigger than Benny Johnson.
She's bigger than Benny Johnson. Although I think no, you know what? I think Benny Johnson needs to fall.
Let's finish A tier. I think Hasan needs to drop down to top of A tier.
No, top of B tier. No, I'm gonna disagree here. I think he should stay right where he's at. This has put him in the spotlight again. He is the center of attention. His numbers are stronger than they've been in a long time.
It's not just being center of attention though, because it's the same way Candace isn't necessarily S tier, even though her numbers have ballooned. It's because there are people watching the train wreck now with her too.
And Hasan, I think Hasan falls in that category.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I put Nick behind Hasan because Nick doesn't really do anything that makes waves anymore. He's having trouble getting motion. I think
both Nick and Hasan should. Well, no, you know what? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna move Nick down to Hasan, and they will be the bottom of A tier.
Yeah,
that feels right. How about then? Let's move into B tier then. Any of these we need to re-rank. Benny Johnson is the first one we haven't talked yet. Do we need to re-rank Benny?
Yeah, he hasn't popped up for me for anything. So move him definitely below Crowder, definitely below Jon Stewart, definitely below Matt Walsh. Is that the Libs of TikTok lady we got so high?
Shia, she's gonna need to drop too. Yep.
So yeah, keep dropping him lower than Bill. We have Shu too high, but I don't care. I love Shu, so
yeah, you will simp for Shu forever. I get it.
Take him below Flagrant and Charlemagne, and
I like him. They're both the Flagrant podcast. No. It's just Andrew. No, they are the two geniuses or what I forget their name. We just call him Flagrant though.
Yeah. Below Cole. I'm sorry, who's that in that box?
Ron Filipkowski or whatever, the Midas Network guy.
Oh yeah, I don't even know him. I've never seen any of his
Big
content.
Twitter follow.
I yeah, put him right below Shapiro.
Below Shapiro?
Boom.
Okay.
Yeah, put him right there.
Jesse Waters had a report about the CIA raiding Tulsi Gabbard's office that he pulled back like a day later. So he's going down into bottom of C tier for me.
Yeah, but
What
he's
do you think about that?
he's the Tucker Carlson of Fox right now.
He just retracted a statement about Tulsi Gabbard's office being raided by the FBI and then went, oops, never mind.
Yeah,
He's,
no,
at least for this week, he's got to go, okay, top of C.
Yeah,
he's
I
got to
mean,
go down a tier.
Statistically, he's the best show. He's the number one show on Fox. We have the number one show on Fox in C tier.
Yeah,
we're talking about
Fox,
influence.
You know what I mean?
I know,
Yeah.
but you're talking about influence, just like Piers Morgan. You know, it's you can't argue with his numbers and style.
How many of Fox's like networks or like their numbers are just because of like they're on channels and waiting rooms across airports and shit?
Not more
like
than
that.
CNN. Not more than CNN. CNN owns
And where is anyone on CNN on this list? Are they down in C and D tier? Yes, that's where I want to put Jesse Waters too, because no one actually watches this dude. Greg Gutfeld is a higher thing on my list than Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters is not okay. Where's he going? Where's he going in your mind? Then it's got to go lower.
You can put him wherever you'd like, but I'm going to show you no one's watching him. He gets millions of views.
I get you. Well, then is he above Piers Morgan?
Golly. Yeah, I mean, I don't like either one. I hate this sometimes.
It's not who you like. It's power ranking, baby.
And power rankings. And does he get a lot of voice? Does he have a lot of motion?
Okay, I just want to move him. Yeah, his motion. I got to talk his motion. I want to put him, let's put him just above Shoe on Head. Just so he moves down the ranking. He's still in VRT, just below Shoe on Head.
Yeah, because Shoe on Head literally isn't just that high, but I love
and
her.
That's fine. And this is good then, because that means, that means he moved up.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't, because he was up. No, he didn't.
I don't remember. It's wonderful. This is good content, people. Okay. Chaya's got to go further down. She's been getting L's like, okay, well, wait, hold on. Because we said Rachel needs to move. How far down does she need to go?
What has she done? Has she popped up for anything?
No.
I can't think of anything that anyone has said, negative, positive, or whatever.
Yeah, or like a book or like a podcast or something. Because that's the other thing is through the first term, she had all like these side mission things that she was, she had this podcast about this point in history.
I know I tried turning on MS Now on a Monday night. I don't know. This is about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And
she only does one night still, right?
Yeah, she only does it one night. And her topic was something that was just totally unrelated to what anyone in the world was talking about. And of course, it was why Trump was bad, but I mean, I don't remember what the exact thing was. But I mean, on CNN, there was something hot going on. Maybe it was Iran war or something. And yeah, it was irrelevant. It was literally irrelevant.
If you look back at 1923, you'll find something really similar in history that we can learn from here. It's like, thanks, Rachel. That's awesome. I think she's got to go bottom of B tier.
That's fine. I'm all right with that.
She's below all these people in my mind. She's probably even below a lot of these people but because she has a big channel, she has a big show, I got to keep her some level of height. Jon Stewart, does he need to be lowered? Is that just my love of him? I think Matt Walsh, we might have a good spot. He's kind of like
I'd leave him stable because I think their fan bases are fine. I haven't heard anything out of them. I haven't heard them do anything outrageous or anything. But at the same time, they're not gone. You know what I'm saying? Just because we don't. Or you pay more attention to Jon Stewart than I do. But
Absolutely,
just because I don't pay attention to them necessarily doesn't mean that they aren't important. I personally would just leave them alone.
How about Libs of TikTok, Bill Maher, Shoe on Head? either of those three.
Actually, well, Shu should get above Bill Maher just for her takedown of Hasan. Everyone had
Of
reaction
Hasan.
videos to
Yeah,
that.
she legit. She should go probably even above Matt Walsh.
Yeah, I'm
She
fine
doesn't
with
have the
that.
same audience.
She's
but
probably
she,
way
in that
too high to
online
begin with.
world.
But again,
Yeah.
you just gotta have to understand, I'm a simp. So
Right, you're a simp for her content. I'm a simp
Yeah.
for that like 2010s emo chick look. So yeah, we're just gonna be simping for Shoe on Head. That's the way it is. How about Flagrant and Charlemagne, or Tim Pool, if you want to
they
move him
haven't.
at all.
None of the three have popped up for me. But again, I don't feel any inclination to have to drop them or anything.
Cool. Same with,
And-
I'm guessing, Midas guy.
Yeah, I'm oblivious. That is a black hole in my universe. Nothing escapes. I know nothing of him and his content. I know he's like the number one guy on podcasts or something, or right below Tucker Carlson,
on
whatever.
YouTube. I think one of his channels gets some of the most views for sure.
Yeah.
Which to me is crazy too.
He
I
delivers-
believe Mockler is a part of the Midas network.
Of the network, yeah. He delivers his your 2 minutes of hate. He gives you it good and hard.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, your hate hour or whatever.
Yeah, you can throw up Emmanuel Goldstein on the screen and yell at how much you hate him, and it gets that cathartic.
Exactly.
feeling.
Have a little aneurysm. How about Pod Save Bros? Because they have been getting mixed reactions from people on the left ever since the DNC autopsy came out, which we haven't really gone into too many details on. I burped. But I
did
think
want to
that might
cover
push
that.
them. Huh?
We did an episode on it, I think. The night
we
that
did
the night they
Ken
had the Martin
interview.
Yeah,
exactly.
And we never did a
but we haven't
follow-up.
covered the fallout of the actual report yet. But I think I want to move Favs up a little bit. I want to move them just below Shapiro, separate the Pod Save Bros a little bit. How about Loomer? Is she moving at all? She have any like?
She popped on my
personal
radar because she
report
took
on someone?
credit for getting rid of Tulsi. It was all bullshit. But she's convinced Tulsi's the leaker who leaked to Joe Kent and is tied in with the retarded right leaking information to him. All bullshit. Today, Trump had a long national security meeting about the Iran deal, and Tulsi was in the room. Tulsi's not leaving until June 30th. Tulsi is
I thought
not
it was like the end of June.
pushed out. Yeah, she's not pushed out of the tent. So this, if she were the evil that, Trump finally discovered the evil that is Tulsi and hates her and is flipping around on her ear, she wouldn't be at the national security meeting. So Loomer can stay there because she's got her devotees. She's still bags on Nick and them. She still bags on Candace. She's still important, but again, personal. It'd be interesting, personal. Man, I don't like none of these people, but go on. I like Nux and Shoe.
Nux and Shoe are your go-tos. This is the struggle, dear viewer. This is
and Asmongold.
And Asmongold. But this is the burden that we bear, Larry, for our dear listeners, and why they need to subscribe to the Daily Hot Take, because they can't keep track of it all. We can barely keep track of it all, including Dave Rubin and the Breaking Points crew. Are they moving? Is Jenk moving at all? I think they're all sitting right where they're going to sit, right here at the bottom of V. What do you think about that?
Bannon will pop up for me occasionally, but only because of the guest. Nick clips, not his full long form content. But I'll see clips like he'll have like Mike Davis or some other person tangentially affiliated with the administration. And it's the interview is the reason I see the clip, not because of Bannon. Not because of Bannon's take. So he kind of does in MAGA verse, he does what your Pierce is doing for the whole podcast verse.
Got you. Yeah, for that kind of section. That actually, you know what? That's a good way of phrasing that, I think. How about, and Alex Jones kind of does that for the Jew question part of the right, the libertarian right. How about Alex Jones, Dave Smith, or Destiny, Kyle Kalinske, people over on the online left?
I think they're just doing their thing, as far as I know. Again, Alex hasn't popped up for doing anything exceptionally stupid. Dave Smith's only close on my mind because we keep cheesing that clip about the fall or the grip that Trump has on the party. Kyle Dumb. He popped up for me in a YouTube algorithm, but it was someone clowning on him for his take about the 2024 election. You know, he had predicted a big Kamala victory or whatever. Maybe it was
because he's a clown. So
yeah. I'm
yeah, I
okay
think
with
this
where
is all
they're
about
at.
right. I think I might bump Dave Smith in front of Alex Jones, but it's not going to stay that way for long. I saw Asmongold had a thing where someone had clipped that he might be interested in talking to Alex Jones. And within minutes, Alex had tweeted out, he was coming his fucking pants. Please have me on. Oh my God, I would love to talk to you about what's going on with the globalists. So that might be coming up here pretty soon. We might have A tier Asmongold dragging Alex Jones's ass up into B tier
Yeah.
coming up soon.
Alex
So.
Jones is kind of like the football player that had something 10 years ago and he's still coasting on his name, like Chris Carter at the end of his career, up in the Minnesota. He's got that vibe about him. He had a fastball back in there, a good curveball back in the day, but he's still on the roster.
Doesn't happen anymore. I'm kind of just looking at everyone here and the rest of the list, and you tell me, is anyone popping out as like we need to move them?
No.
I think they're
No. If anything, they would all drop a little lower, but it's not. No,
I can't drop them all below all of them
yeah.
because they're all so bad.
No, they're not D tier. That's what I'm saying. They're fine. They're fine. They're fine. No, the D tier is like the coalition of retards, right? Run through our D tier
I
real
guess.
quick.
Right. David Pac-Man, which
Yeah.
he's part of the Chorus was the name of the group, by the way. Like the Democrat aligned.
Okay.
Are they Democrats? Are they
Yeah,
centrists?
on the
Taylor
payroll.
Lorenz group.
Okay,
Yeah.
Matt Parkman is what I call him because Matt Parkman was a Heroes. Yeah, when you were like Dave Pac-Man, I was like, I don't know who that is, but I know Matt Parkman. But anyway, anytime the character would introduce himself in Heroes, he would say, "I'm Matt Parkman." But anyway, yeah, James Carville. Yep, he belongs down there. Milo,
Matt Taibbi.
Matt Taibbi's in a bad place right now. Oh boy, ever since his split with Walter Kern, the lady he hired, he's in a bad. He abandoned Twitter. I'm gonna check and see if he showed up in middle of May. Yeah, everything is just kind of he's in a bad place right now. I'm gonna check on him, see if he even showed back up. Gabe Bosch, I have no idea. He's not in my circle of life. Just a generic, hey, this is what I got on my show and this is what I got on my website. No interaction with people on Matt Taibbi.
That's the thing, he doesn't interact a whole lot.
He
so
did.
I think that's going to.
He used to.
Yeah.
He used to, not a lot, but he did. He doesn't at all now, period. He's in seclusion. He's trying a new show, apparently. Get it now? He's got a new show with because he was with Matt Tracy for a while. Him and Walter Kern split up. Then he went out with Matt Tracy, and everybody hated Matt Tracy. And I don't know if he fired him or if Matt Tracy quit. Anyway, they killed that show, and apparently he's got a new show with Wayward Rabbler. I don't know who that is. Matt and Brad is what they're calling it. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at the replies and see how bad he's getting whacked. Go ahead and continue with our list.
Yeah, you're good. I was kind of looking through too and seeing anything. I think Ian Carroll, and I know I haven't watched a whole lot of his shit, but he's been popping up in my feed more. So I want to move him above some people just because of that. But not.
He only got my attention because he was doing. I'm not doing the Doomer stuff or. No, again, he could change his mind in a second.
And it got recommended to me. I know it was probably very popular video for him. So for no reason other than that, I'm going to very arbitrarily move him 4 spots higher up on the list. Just so our shit moves a little bit, man.
There you go.
What else? Anna Kasparian was on Candace Owens' show, who is an A tier influencer.
Yeah, I wouldn't move anybody because of that, but I find that funny just on a this
Yeah, not
marriage, this
right.
marriage.
This marriage, exactly. Here's okay, and on that tip,
How
let me pull this up.
the Pod Bros kind of became, we're best friends with the Bulwark guys. The TYT crew is like, we're best friends with the retarded right.
With
They're
on that note, let me share this real quick before we go back to. So this was Anna Moggs, Laura Loomer, when Anna Kasparian and Laura Loomer are going on a giant tirade against one another. And then one of the Groypers made this little delightful meme of Anna Kasparian with giant tits in a Nazi outfit. And it says she's the one, she's the chosen one. So definitely the far Reich and the Young Turks are going to find great company in one another's arms.
it's the marriage of convenience. It's the
yeah.
And I'm sure I'm sure it's got the lifespan of a Hollywood celebrity marriage. I'm just saying, I'm sure this is a political coalition that will last the ages. There's no way they will ever come in conflict.
That's right. That's right.
It's funny.
But yeah, other than that, I think we're cool with leaving everyone. We've arbitrarily moved. Let me arbitrarily move someone in D tier too, just so they both the tiers look different.
Isn't that Rachel
Vosh
Maddow
is
again?
move.
Oh no, that's Chris. What's his name?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. We moved Vosh down a little bit along with Matt because we talk shit about both of them. So there's our power ranking.
We said about Vosh is what he's doing, but that's fine.
And he moved down the list. Well, what he's doing is being isolated, and our whole milieu is let's mix all this shit up. So reach out to us, Vosh. Tell us why we were wrong and why you need to move up the list. You know what?
Who do we got down
this
there?
Should
Sam
start
Cedar?
the Vosh rivalry. We have Sam Cedar, Jillian Michaels.
Yeah, we'll talk about them once after we review their clip. I will say the Maha section is very important. They are an important part of the MAGA coalition.
There's no reason why we can't rank them now. Where would you put Jillian Michaels right now on this?
Lower than Dave Rubin, but she's definitely in the Dave Rubin.
And Rubin was B, right? Did I remember correctly? Because that's Cernovich. Where is Dave Rubin?
Do we have Dave Rubin up there?
I thought we just talked about him earlier. Yeah, there he is, right below Nux.
Okay, okay. Okay, then put her in, because I don't know if her numbers are good. She'll get a good show, like when she had Andrew Wilson on, her number popped up, but again, that was just the Andrew Wilson people filtering in.
So by maybe Bannon, Jenkins, like right below
you know what?
breaking
Just
points,
just because it would piss off Bannon, put her above Bannon.
I think she's above breaking points. I'm going to put her right next. It's maybe my brain's wanting to associate the two.
She's talking to the Maha moms, the anti-vaxxer, the health conscious, the liberals who can't be woke.
Part of it. Maybe if we have more Maha voices, maybe she would rank lower, and maybe I just want a good representative of kind of the Maha.
Dave Rubin, her.
Right.
And Sage is it Sage Steele? Yeah, it's the four of them are basically the Maha YouTube voices anyway.
Got you. Which I know that's at least popped up in my algorithm, whatever podcast they have together. I'm gonna put Sam Cedar, probably honestly the bottom of that same B tier. Which it makes sense that they were kind of interacting.
Didn't he pop up a couple of months ago for something? I know nothing of him. So, and I remember there was
pops up every once in a while, honestly, because I think he's willing to interact with a whole lot of folks. And what is that show's like radio station? It's like, whatever they call it. Like Janine Garofalo was the original host of it back in like the 90s and shit.
Man, there's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Right. But yeah, I'm getting off track.
It's like Hillary Clinton years. Is Janine Garofalo still alive? I haven't heard it. It's like Sarah Silverman. Like Sarah Silverman. Another name that was like
been active much. She was in Wreck-It Ralph as a voice. So she definitely has.
Yeah, but how recent is Wreck-It Ralph? Like 5 years ago?
Much more recent than anything Janine Garofalo has been in. When was, the dogs and cats go to heaven or whatever the fuck it was. Which
Oh
one
my
was
gosh.
it? Her and Uma Thurman when they're like mixing places. Hold on.
I
Uma
don't know. This is lore. I
Thurman,
don't know.
Janine.
Oh, what? Like a pretty girl got in her body? They did the body
The
switch
truth
thing?
about cats and dogs. It's more not body switching so much as one of them pretends to kind of be the personality of the other. I think
I
it's
need
one of
AI
those
to
things
write that
going on.
script. I want a script where Janine Garofalo and Uma Thurman switch bodies.
Right, they both put their hands on
Yeah, the magical
cursed
device.
Peruvian pot. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
and it starts rumbling.
I'm gonna have
Jesus
AI
Christ.
write that script up. That's our next show, ladies and gents.
Did you have anything else for these rankings then? Before we go, I just want to do these rankings all the fucking time, man. This is so much more
Well,
fun.
it's funny because we get to touch base on what these guys are doing, or at least how they're affecting us personally. I think they look about right for, you know, it's definitely. I bet you someone else would look at this list and they go, "What? What?
Right.
Why the hell is Pierce Morgan so high?"
Now
I'm
we're
just fucking with you.
ranking. Right. Yeah, I gotta explain this, bro, okay? When I break down these 3 statistical categories, you will understand. No, I think we're good with the list here. I really want Jesse Waters to take a bigger L than he did today, but I think that's my only big complaint, really.
All right,
I think that's
I'm good
it.
with it too.
All right, well then, anything else just in general before we kind of send them off here?
I think there's a good chance Iran pops off this weekend. That's one thing to keep an eye on. No show on Monday for anyone who's.
Oh, yep.
Yep, and we will be taking Monday off due to personal reasons, but we'll be back.
So that
Should be back
means
Tuesday, assuming
the
everything's all
2nd.
good. The
Mhm,
2nd.
Absolutely. That's correct. Until then, be good. Order me a double cheeseburger and fry if you can, Larry, while
That's
you're there.
right. The service
And
here is
just drop it
terrible.
off.
I actually did do a
Sir.
worker, but AI had a big old problem with him, and he looked really,
Oh, yeah?
really, really bad. Trying to see if I
Like
could
really racist or
just
because
stupid
that would be
looking.
fun.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
didn't have time
just
to I didn't have time to wrangle the to wrangle the
to make it look like a
AI.
human again or whatever.
Yeah, it was dumb. But anyway, yep. All right,
Well,
peace
yeah,
out,
you get me
people.
burger, get me a family or a kid's meal so I get the toy. Yeah, y'all be
Yep.
good to each other.
And this
we'll
was
see
back
y'all
in the good
next
days
week.
when they had cool toys too.
When exactly, they would shoot out a fucking rocket. It would hit you in the
Yeah.
eye because it was made out of real metal.
I'm with George Carlin. That stuff, like, it separated, survival of the fittest. It was Darwinism. Stupid people,
right.
Don't put the sign on the ladder. If you
You
can't
got
figure a
killed by the
ladder
lawn
out,
dart. Your kid got killed by the lawn dart. That's how it goes.
Yeah. I'm an Xer. I'm an Xer. Yeah, we would flip those fuckers way high in the air.
Just see where they go. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the game. Shit.
That's the game. Peace out, people.
Right. Peace out, y'all. Peace.
That was fun.
Oh.